Welcome to the TAF HUB. This is a brand new show brought to you by TAF Africa Global to educate you on real estate business and all the information you need to know about real estate.
After 45 years of construction and real estate development in 8 African countries, it is time to share my experience, and it can only be done in the TAF HUB. We will be inviting experts who will give you facts and the right regulations on real estate development.
Join us every week on our social media platforms for an exciting show. You can also watch us on JRTS TV every Sunday at 8:30 p.m.
Hi, and good day to everybody. Here we're again on the TAF HUB. This time I am not here with my co-host Mariama. The reason being that I have 2 guests here. So I'm sitting in the seat that guests should have been sitting. So welcome to the TAF HUB. I am here with my guests, and I will allow her to introduce herself, 2 of them, and then on my left also I have a gentleman here. So welcome to the TAF HUB. Just introduce yourself and tell us who you are.
Thank you for that. And first, I would like to thank you for the opportunity for bringing us here, sharing your platform. My name is Haddy Jallow Coulibaly. I like to say that I'm an American-born Gambian. Professionally, I work as the Senior Vice President of Operations for Bigcart Technology, a supply chain finance company. And across the waters in the Gambia, here where it's home, I work as the CFO, Chief Financial Officer for Innovarx Global. On the community advocacy side, I founded a foundation called Elevate Foundation, geared towards bringing quality access to healthcare and education to the underserved with my partner Ida Sane. And recently, as recent as February, I wrapped up a 4.5-year term running one of the largest and most influential diaspora groups, AJERA, Atlanta Gambian Emergency Relief Association. So many hats, but that's what I do.
Great. So welcome to the TAF HUB. Now, on my left is a gentleman here, and I will allow him also to introduce himself.
Thank you so much for having me. It's so great to be here. I am Archie Jones. I am from Atlanta, Georgia in the U.S., and I actually am a coach, and I coach in 3 key areas. First, I'm an educator. I teach at the Harvard Business School in the fields of finance and entrepreneurial management. I also am an advisor. So I sit on the board of directors of both public companies, private companies, and social enterprises. And last but not least, I'm an investor. I've spent more than the last 30 years investing in small to medium-sized businesses and social enterprises in the U.S. And have partnered with Haddy and looking forward to continuing the work that we've done in the U.S. and started to do here in the Gambia and take it more broadly and formalize those efforts.
Well, excellent. But let me still stay with you, Archie, and Professor Archie. Should I call you Professor Archie?
Professor works.
Yeah, that's right. Professor Archie.
Or coach.
Or coach. I love Professor.
You love Professor. You like that.
You know, when you say Harvard Business School, I mean, that's the Rolls Royce of university education, isn't it?
It is.
You know,
it
so it doesn't come easy. So we're proud to associate with you as a professor of Harvard Business School.
Proud to be here.
Now, what is the driving force behind you visiting the Gambia?
The driving force behind visiting the Gambia is around opportunity. I think there's a saying that's been said a number of times that talent is widely distributed, but opportunity is not. Mm-hmm. And I've had the fortune to invest in businesses around the country in the U.S. as well as around the globe as a part of some corporate initiatives that I was on, but I haven't had the opportunity to invest in Africa.
Wow.
And so I'm looking for the opportunity to invest in Africa, not just for financial profit, but I think also for social profit as well. Looking for social return and to be able to increase or drive humanity through that work.
Oh, excellent. Now let me turn to you, Haddy. You've been away for some time. You said that you do visit, back and forth. Mm-hmm. But how does it feel to be home?
Feels great. Home is where the heart is. Like I said, I'm American-born Gambian, and so I was there. I was born in America 3 years, came to the Gambia with my parents, and I went back when I was 17. So this is where I grew up. This is what made me who I am. This is my background, my foundation. And so whenever I'm home, it's home. This is home. And I enjoy being here. And a lot of that social entrepreneurship that I do puts me in my element. And I am lucky to be able to do that today. And so whenever I come back and do that, I'm in a totally different space, and I love it.
Professor Archie, you've spoken about investment.
Yes.
But why do you want to collaborate with Gambian businesses?
The focus on Gambian businesses is about really, again, trying to bring some of the expertise that I've developed over the years in the U.S. And I think some of that mostly around what I like to call leadership capital. I think more so than anything else, I spend time educating and advising and guiding leaders from around the world, particularly in the classroom at Harvard Business School. And I think there's such wonderful, even in the short time we've been here, I've met a number of great leaders, such as yourself.
I'm humble.
Entrepreneurs as well. And oftentimes, more so than financial capital, they need help developing strong relationships, leveraging expertise and experience. And again, I've spent my career building businesses. And I think for those businesses, I can help them build stronger businesses. And one of the things that I've learned is when you build a business, you don't just gain profit. You also create opportunity, not just for the entrepreneur and his or her family, but for the people who work for them and for the broader community. And so I don't think there's a better way to have impact on the community than to start with what I know best, which is growing businesses. And that way I could have, hopefully, impact on the entire community by driving economic empowerment through leveraging that work with businesses.
Excellent. But as a Harvard professor and having to hold executive positions both in public and private companies, have you found any common traits in employees in these different institutions?
I think the most, and I'll underline that for the successful employees, the employees that I think are most successful. I think there is a common thread, and it's something that we don't talk about often enough. We talked about it a little bit today as we were traveling around. Entrepreneurship. Right? Not everyone is designed to be an entrepreneur, to start up as something from scratch, a new business. But working inside of a company or inside of an organization, you can be a valuable asset. Leverage your strengths, leverage your skills to make that organization better. And I think this idea of entrepreneurship, working inside of an existing organization, whether it be as the CFO, or the head of operations, or the head of HR. So what I find common across those is people using their special skills and applying those to the goal and the mission of the organization helps those organizations to thrive as well as those individuals.
Excellent. So it's a teamwork. Actually, yes, we spoke about that,
We did.
And I think it would be nice to bring that back because there's quite a number of young people out there. It is the vogue today that everybody wants to be an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
I've had this question, people walk to me and say, oh, Uncle Taf, I want to be like you. But I mean, for me, there are core values that you need to have to be able to succeed as an entrepreneur. That's one. Yes. And then you need to have those traits of entrepreneurship in you. I mean, I am a believer that you have to have some skills. Yes. Not everybody is born to be an entrepreneur.
I don't believe so.
But I like the way you've just said it, that you can be a support member of the team.
Yes.
Somebody can lead it as an entrepreneur. Yes. But yes, if you are a CFO or you are a director somewhere within that organization, yes, you can be successful.
Yes.
So I think it's good to look at the camera and tell these young kids that not all of you can work and be successful as an entrepreneur. Some of you need to be employed. You need to be part of the team.
I think yes, that is exactly right. And I think the key part of that, and I share this with my students, is that we are all on our own entrepreneurial journey. Everybody's journey isn't the same. It doesn't start at the same point. It doesn't ultimately lead to you being a standalone entrepreneur or even of a startup business, so to speak. But again, as we've talked about entrepreneurship, Haddy and I first met working for a small company in Atlanta now account, an entrepreneurial journey, less than 20 employees. I was serving as CFO, she was running risk management, very much on an entrepreneurial journey, taking entrepreneurial risk and getting entrepreneurial rewards in the form of equity options and stock. And so we were on our journey, but we weren't the founder of that business. And so I think there is a place for entrepreneurship across the spectrum, even inside of some organizations. And again, to that point of an entrepreneurial journey, I think some of the best training ground to figure out if you are an entrepreneur is inside of another organization where you can hone those skills. As you talked about on our walk today, yes, you're born with some skills. A, you've got to recognize those skills. And B, get some folks around you who can help you hone those skills to their biggest and best use. And so I think of us as all being on that entrepreneurial journey. I would say to folks in your audience, as particularly young folks, learn early on. And I've got these 4 C's of leadership capital.
Go ahead, tell us.
So the first C is capability, to your point. Know what unique skills you have. We don't all bring the same thing to the table. Learn what it is that you bring that is special to the table, and we sometimes call it your superpower. That thing that you do better than anyone else, and leverage that. Again, that may be being the CFO of an organization, not the CEO, but leverage your skill. The second is communication. Something that you've done extremely well. Tell your story. Too often we don't tell our story strong enough or loud enough or often enough for folks who can help us and partner with us. Part of our mission here is to tell our story, so we're communicating. So we've got capability, communication. The third is around connection, leveraging relationships. You don't get there alone. You don't get there on your own. Finding, developing, cultivating truly strong partnerships and relationships is a key to developing your leadership capital. And last but not least, which I don't think I heard that a lot of Gambians don't suffer from having, is confidence.
Wow.
You have to have the confidence. So once you know your capability, you can communicate it well, you're leveraging connections, bring that confidence to actually bring that to fruition and make that mission come to life.
Excellent. So would you want to add anything onto that, or you're okay with it?
I think that entrepreneurial journey is very important. One, like me, I grew up in the startup world. So basically, I've never worked with big corporate. Maybe it's different. Archie had that experience, but when I met him, he met me at a startup. But before that, I was at another startup. So that journey, it outlines, you learn so much. I started from being an admin coordinator in a financial services company while I was still in school. Immediately when I finished, I was hired there to stay. So I started from there to an underwriter, senior credit analyst, all the way to where I am today. So it's a journey, but I wasn't the owner of those companies. The CEOs are there. I was able to work with them. I had the opportunity to make sure that I build the process with them. So I think that's very important for people to understand that this is what I can win and this is what I can succeed in and do it. And it doesn't matter when you realize it, right? You just have to build your way towards it. And confidence is also key. You need to be able to do that. But along that way, don't be afraid to ask. Because I think people kind of miss those two, that you're so confident in yourself that you don't really care what others have to say to guide you through it. But if you're open to learning and ask the questions and work with the people that you are with, there's no failing at that point. Because those people would be saying that, okay, I always say, when I mess up, I'm going to come to you and be like, oh, snap, I did that. You know, what do we do to fix it? I'm not afraid to say that, but I do know that I'm human. I can make those mistakes and build it. And that's one of the things we did when we were at the startup that we did together.
Can I just add one point?
Go ahead,
and this will be a little bit of bragging on Haddy, because she's a wonderful Gambian and a treasure to the country. She's also a social entrepreneur.
Yes,
Again, we're on our different journeys. You don't have to start a for-profit business. So while she's been in high levels in startups, but not the founder, she did found Elevate.
Yes, I did.
Reason we are here and helping Gambians, whether be it in education or healthcare, her passion for the country, her passion for giving back. So she's on, again, an entrepreneurial journey, different than we might have thought about, right? Not a for-profit business, but one that's certainly having impact.
Excellent. Well done. And thank you for supporting our own Haddy.
Without a doubt.
Okay, but Haddy, let me come back to you. Haddy, let me come back to you. As a young lady and a Gambian doing extremely well in the US, how does it feel, and what has been your biggest achievement so far? What would you consider, having been your biggest achievement?
I think I don't quite look at it as biggest achievements, but maybe proud moments and things that make me feel alive inside. And I think, like we just talked about here, that social entrepreneurship aspect of things have made me feel very humble and grateful and thankful. I think my sort of today, what I'm most proud of is that I've gotten myself to the point where I'm able to give back. I'm able to do things for people and help them, uplift families, build them. And part of that is sustainability. I'm very proud of building structures around things and people that are sustainable. So that is long-term and is carrying a legacy. Not probably my legacy, but helping families build a legacy and go do that. I think those are things that it's more of being grateful for the opportunity. That's one thing. And socially, I guess my most recent accomplishment was running Ajera, as you know, an organization that was pretty dormant a little bit before I came through. And I was able to work with a group of executives and ramp it up and bring it back to life and get it back to the position that it was always as one of the most influential groups there. So again, you know, I do my work in the corporate world and achieve as much as possible and do that work. But the biggest accomplishment is life and knowing that you've made an impact on someone's life. And I think I'm very grateful and thankful that that's what I'm cherishing.
Excellent. Well done. I think you've done very well. Actually, I met you when was about, 4 years ago or so? Before COVID?
Yes, actually, yes, that's true.
Yeah, and I was introduced to you as somebody who's taking over, or one of those who took over Ajera.
Yes.
And you really made a difference.
Yes, I remember that. You came to Atlanta and then we had lunch together to talk about. That was my first year running Ajera. Yes,
wow,
that's
wow.
right.
Well done. Well done.
Thank you.
Well done. Great.
Thank you.
Now, let me come back to you, Prof. And as an influential black corporate director in a country like the US, how did you do it? And what challenges have you faced, and how did you overcome them?
So I am a director. I sit on the public company board and a number of private company boards. I think the biggest, you asked how I did it. How I did it is the third C connection.
Okay.
It is relationships.
Yeah.
And I think it starts with, and I go back to my coaching.
Yeah.
That's what I do all day, every day as coach. Whether it is social entrepreneurs, public company CEOs, business school students, I'm bringing to them, sharing the best of what I have and the best of what I know, and become known for that. Right? Those folks who think of me, and I talked about the different hats that I wear, I'm an advisor. I can't help but give advice. And so probably sometimes unwarranted or unasked for. If I've got an idea, I've got to share it. And so I honed that, but then I also cultivated relationships. Most of trying to get something done, particularly trying to get on a public company board, as I've shared with folks, I'm trying to help others get on public company boards. It's about relationships. Often you've heard the saying, it's not what you know, but who you know. It's leveraging relationships. But I'll add a little something to that. Not in the short-term, short-sighted way of what can you do for me. Start from the other way of what can I do for you. And so when you become known as a helper, as an advisor, as a part of the support system, folks want to bring you in. And so that's how I've gotten brought on into boards, is being known for helping. I think you said, what was the biggest challenge? I think one of the biggest challenges is that fourth C of confidence. Believing that you belong in the room. Believing that you bring something special to the room. Oftentimes, while there are some barriers out there and folks who will try to get in your way, oftentimes your biggest enemy is yourself. And there's a quote that's been put out there that I share often. The cave that you're afraid to enter holds the treasures that you seek. And so I think there's getting past that personal fear of trying something that is risky. A room you've never been in, an office that you've been asked to hold that you've never done, a country that you've been to or going to that you've never been. To take that entrepreneurial step, that explorative step to try. I think that's been the biggest challenge, is to overcome my own fears of the unknown and to know that I bring something special to the table.
Excellent. Actually, on the connections, it is said that your net worth is your network.
Yes, it is. I love that. I love that.
That's one thing, you know. Then on the other hand, also, you spoke about asking, you know, what you can bring in. A common saying from we borrow from late President John Kennedy is ask what you can do for your country, but not what your country can do for you.
That's
right. So well done. And let's come back to you, Haddy. And you say, if you could go back in time, what would you say to your 10-year-old self?
Know how to brag. To brag.
Wow.
As a Gambian, because I say that not to just say brag, but toot your own horn. The confidence is the key to that. Because I feel like a lot of us were growing up to have so much respect, and we mistake respect for being shy away from what you actually have a talent to do. I think one of the key things my dad had told me when I was leaving the US was that, hey, the one thing that's different is when you're speaking to people, look at them in the eye. Don't look down, because they don't trust you. In that case, then you're not telling the truth. But otherwise, before that, I was told to not look at adults in the eye when I'm talking, because that's disrespectful. So there are different worlds to that. But then I had to hone that skill and then learn it better and be able to represent myself well. And I think at 10 years old, I didn't have that confidence. I, of course, didn't know that I had the confidence. And then you wouldn't really brag about yourself or people, that are close to you, because then you're too show-offy. But then you have this quality in you that you actually want to show us, so people know that you have it, but you didn't. So I pretty much shied away from that a lot. And I wouldn't say I have regrets on that, but, I think it would have taken me a long way, maybe sooner, but I don't regret my path anyway. However, that 10-year-old girl was very introvert. I was an introvert. I still am, sort of. People don't seem to believe that. But those skills are very necessary, especially for young girls. If you have that and have that confidence and build it, take over the room. We women are out here to be able to do what it is that we're able to do. I'm biased. I'm always for the young women and the ladies in this world. So you have to wear that hat and be able to stand up, shoulders up, chin up, and talk, own that room, and be able to represent yourself and anybody else around. And one thing I'll also add is that don't be afraid to call that name that's not in the room that you think can actually do something that you're not able to do, so they can come into the picture and work with you and make things better. I think that's another thing that people have failed to realize as young people, that you can work together. Teach them early that they can work with others together, team building, and take that up to when they grow up as women, they can fix each other's crowns. They can promote each other and work well and make the world a better place. I think that, makes life much easier.
Yeah, good. Now, 30 seconds. Look into that camera. There are quite a lot of young people who are looking up to you. They're watching you. Tell them in 30 seconds, good advice, something that they will forever and ever remember.
The advice is take advantage of the connections that you have as a growing young adult, for sure. I am where I am here because of my network. No one makes it through life and be successful without having other people to help you. That's key in life. Respect each other, respect people. The key and the bottom line is to respect the people around you so they can respect you back, and you'll make it far in life.
Thank you. And Prof, you've got your chance now. Look there, and there's a number of youth who are looking at you, but Pan-African youths, not only Gambian. And give them an advice. 30 seconds.
Follow your dreams. Dream big and follow your dreams. Don't let anyone tell you what you cannot do. Don't be afraid to start small. I often talk about this idea of crawl, walk, run to get to where you want to get to, but dream big, believe in yourself. And again, I know that you've got a superpower. Find that superpower, that thing that is unique about you, that you bring to the party, to this community, to this world, and be boastful about sharing what that is. Someone out there needs that. And if you're proud and loud about what it is that you are great at, the world will find you and will leverage that skill, and you will realize your dream.
Learn to brag.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thanks so much, Prof, and Hub, for coming onto this program. And same to you, Haddy.
Thanks for having us.
It's been a pleasure. It has been a very good one, excellent program. And I'm sure those of you who are out there watching, you've heard from both of them. This will not be the last time that we invite you. Anytime you come here to the Gambia,
looking forward to it.
We can have you on board. Now, don't forget to follow us on our social media handles on YouTube, on Mustafa Njai-TAF. Till we come your way again, thank you very much for watching.